In this video, I'm going to show you how I've made over 12 million gold in the first week of player housing. I'm going to show you how to set up TSM and also everything you need to know about crafting decor to make as much gold as possible. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to show you how to set up TSM so you can actually use it correctly for crafting decor. So what I recommend doing is first of all going around to all of the profession trainers and learning all of the decor recipes that you can. And once you've done that, it's time to set up TSM. So first of all, you obviously want to make sure that you have TSM set up correctly and that you're actually getting data. So you need to have the TSM desktop app set up. And also if you want realm specific data, you need to add that specific realm you want the data for. Now once you have that set up, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you exactly how to get TSM working. So because we have this item right here, which is warbound, we can actually buy this from a vendor, and also it has no price data of the auction house of like TSM and things like that. So we need to set up something for this. Now we get around 300, you can get a bit over 300 of these per hour. So their worth to us is probably around 100 gold each roughly. That means when you're farming, just from the lumber, not including the profit from the actual craft, but just from collecting the lumber, that means you're getting over like 30k in rough value if you do it. So 100 gold per lumber is a pretty good amount that we're going to use for the price value for this. This way we can actually calculate our time spent out farming all of the different lumber. And this will keep in consideration, say for an example, if one craft you need like 50 pieces of lumber for this, and after doing that the profit is still only like 5,000. But then there's another craft where you only need 5 decor to craft this and it's the same profit margin. You obviously want to be crafting the one that has less lumber. So how we're going to set this up, we'll actually take that into consideration. So what we can do, if we go ahead and we open up one of our professions, so we're going to be doing this with blacksmithing right here. We've learned the recipes for the decor, and now what you want to do is, I'll give you an example. So if we go down and have a look at our classic blacksmithing right here, we can see we have no data, no profit data for the decor items. As you can see right here, it says missing materials. It's because we're actually missing price data for the lumber, because it obviously does not exist. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over to reports, and then from here by default it'll be on crafts. Then you want to go to materials, so this tab right here, search in lumber, and now as you can see only a few popping up because that's all that we have on these characters, these two learned so far. But what you want to do is have all the lumber, all of the different pieces of lumber will pop up, and you want to set a manual price to them. So what you do, if you just right click on them, so we're going to do it with the lumber that we have in our bag, so this piece right here, the ironwood lumber. If we go ahead and right click on this, this is going to be our material cost price. So to actually see this in the TSM settings, if we go over here and you go down to crafting, it's basically from what is right here, but this is our default. We don't want to use the default because this works good with other crafting. What we want to do is we want to override just our lumber. So we're going to delete all that and just put in 100 gold. Then we want to click on save and close. And now this piece of lumber has a material cost, each unit of this, of 100 gold. Now if we go ahead and go back to crafts and we go down, we can now see that we actually have the correct profit margin. And this takes into consideration, it basically makes the lumber worth 100 gold to us. So that will actually show in the calculation right here. So if you need, like, for an example, 10 pieces of lumber, that's going to be about 1,000 gold out of the profit that it's going to show here. This way we take into consideration our time, like our hard spent time out farming lumber. We take that into consideration when we actually figure out what we want to craft. Now I'm going to show you how to set up TSM groups for actually crafting. So let's go ahead and check this out. So obviously you're going to have my TSM groups that you can go ahead and import. So you just go ahead, you copy the import string from the guide, and then you want to go ahead and come over and click, you want to go to groups first, and then you want to click on import group, and then you want to click in the box and click Control V to go ahead and paste that into here. and that will load up all of these groups and the operations I have set up for you guys. So now that you have these all set up, they're going to have the operations. If we go ahead and have a look at the operations real quick right here, the post cap is going to be 1, but we can manually change that later, and I'll show you what I mean if we want to make more than 1 craft of each item to move them across multiple different realms. The auctioning duration is going to be set to 12 hours. If you come to the very front of this, the main thing you need to keep, well, that you need to know is this start bit right here, which basically what this does is it's only going to allow you to post the items if they're over 20% profit compared to the crafting cost. So this means 1.20 basically means 120% of the crafting cost, and then because we have 0.95, that's also going to take into consideration the 5% auction house cut when the item actually sells. And then it goes through these different price sources right here. The first one it will pick up, so it's always pretty much always is going to pick up the DB region market average, and then it will never allow you to actually post items under 30% of the DB region sale average. This is basically just a safety net in case for whatever reason it tries to get you to post the items for very cheap compared to the DB region sale average. This way it will never actually allow you to post below the 30%. So it's basically just another safety net that we put in, and then you also have the vendor sell price involved and all of that. The max price is all the way up to gold cap. Basically just means you undercut people all the way up to a gold cap. Because we have this set to post at gold cap, if someone else posts at gold cap, you're going to post also. And then what we have next here is the normal price, and normal price just means this is the price that you're going to post the items for up on the auction house if there is zero competition. So this is another pretty big string that goes into it, but basically the main thing you need to know is this part right here once again. So this is 2.5, so basically 250% of the DB region market average. It's going to go through all of these price sources in order, so if it can get the DB region sale average, it's going to use that first. So more than likely for every single time it's going to be using this. So 250% of the DB region market average. That is the price it's going to post at with no competition, and once again it takes in consideration obviously the 5% cut from the auction house and obviously the vendor sell price and things like that. Just a bunch of safety nets at the end here, just so you can't post an item that is at a very low price pretty much. So that's how the posting operation works. And then for the crafting, we go ahead and load this up right here. So this is the crafting operation. This is a pretty big one, as you can see. But the main thing you need to know about this is well, first of all, there's a bunch of safety nets that are based off like the sale rate and the prices. But the main thing you need to know is once again this little part right here. All the other things are pretty much just safety nets, so you can't post them for a crazy cheap price. The main thing you need to worry about really is this part right here. So this is once again 1.20 of the crafting, so that's 120% of the crafting cost. This will be the min profit amount that when you go and see which items are profitable, they have to be over basically a 20% profit margin compared to the crafting cost, and that's also taking into the consideration of the 5% auction house cut once you sell the item. So that's the setup right here, and now we just have this set to 1 and 1 because we'll actually go ahead and we'll set this up. If there's items we want to make more than one of, we can go ahead and change that in the next process. So now that you have this all set up, there's actually one more thing that you do need to have set up. So if you go to settings and you go down to crafting right here, you need to make sure, well, this is a lot better than the default. I recommend using this right here for the crafting value method. So I'll have this below the video and you can just go ahead and paste this in here. But basically what this does, because we have first at the start, first of all, it's going to go off the DB region market average if we have data for that. So it's going to go off that first, and then after that it's going to go off the DB region sale average if you don't have any data for the DB region market average, which I'm pretty sure by now every single Decor piece does have both of these price values. Then it also takes in consideration obviously the 5% auction house cut. So you do want to make sure that you have this set up. That is very important. Now you can keep this. This is the default one. This technically does work. So when it comes to actually crafting the items using TSM, once you have everything set up like I explained, the next thing is to go ahead and you want to go ahead and click on this button right here, restock. Obviously you want to have all the groups imported, like my groups, my TSM string. Then you want to click on restock groups, and then you want to select which ones you want to do. Now I have them all sorted out nicely for you by the expansion, by the piece of lumber. So if you want to focus on certain pieces, you can go ahead and do that. So for an example, at the moment we have the ironwood lumber. This is from classic. So we can go ahead and we could select all of the ironwood groups, and we can just see those. We don't have any other lumber or anything set up on this character. So if we just go ahead and restock the groups, we have these 2 recipes learnt right here on this character. When we can see, if we hover over these, we can see the profit margin and the tooltip, and then also right here you can also see the profit. So it's going to cost us about 15,000 gold, 16,000 gold to get the materials. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So now that we have these in the queue, the next thing you want to do is you want to click on the gathering tab. Now once you've got this, you want to make sure you have the character that you're on selected, and then also the professions. This is just the default way right here, and this works perfect. You want to go ahead and click on open task list. And now the main reason we're doing this is to be able to buy the items from the auction house very easily. So once you open up the auction house, you want to go ahead and click on browse, and then you'll see this button pop up which says scan ore. Go ahead and click that, and this will scan all of the materials that are required for our crafts. We can go ahead and we can buy these items, and we'll actually also select the quantity that we need for the actual craft. So we can go ahead and buy these all up. Obviously we already have the lumber. Now you do want to be careful when buying materials not to overpay too much. At the moment there's huge profit margins, so we can overpay for some of the items, but in the you do need to be careful. If for an example one of the items is at over 1,000% or something crazy, I would definitely hold off crafting that item. This is only 142%, so let's just go ahead and craft this. Now we've got all the materials. What we want to do next is grab it out of the mailbox, and now we can go ahead and craft those decor pieces. So if we go ahead and open up the profession, we're going to be using blacksmithing. So we can open this up, click on crafting, and now what we can do is go ahead and craft these bad boys right here. Okay, so at the moment TSM is just showing that it can't craft it, which is basically just a bug, probably because they're new items. But as you can see, we can obviously craft these. Let's go ahead and craft both of these items. And now what I personally recommend doing with this decor is figuring out which of the decor pieces sell the best, and then mass producing those and spreading those out across multiple different realms. This is probably a good method. Another good method is to focus on a really good realm, maybe a realm with a high population. And if you have 2 accounts, you could be on a second account and you could be running cancel scans constantly. This is another great method. So those are the 2 main methods of actually selling the decor. Is basically cross realm, which involves a lot less cancel scanning if you hate cancel scanning, and you basically just throw up one of each material, one of each decor across multiple different realms. This can work really well because you'll have a much bigger market that you can sell to. Or another method that works fairly well also is just focusing on one realm but really heavily undercutting, so you're always at the top of the market on that specific realm. But that's how you use the TSM. That's how you use TSM to go ahead and actually craft these and figure out which ones are worth crafting, whilst taking into consideration your time spent on the lumber converted into actual gold. You can take into consideration that also by doing this method. If you want to take making gold with player housing to the next level, I've put together a complete guide that will teach you everything you need to know about making gold with player housing. From crafting, to flipping, to farming lumber, to absolutely everything. It goes in detail over every little aspect of player housing and making gold from it. I'll have a link down below in the description box to the player housing gold guide, and also if you use code BUFFY10 you'll get 10% off the guide. Inside of the guide, you're going to get my crafting operations for TSM, the best routes for farming all the different lumber. You also get my in-depth guide on flipping decor, get my TSM import string for flipping. You also get my point blank sniper groups for flipping and sniping decor. Plus, it will teach you everything you need to know about the 3 main ways to make gold from player housing, and which is crafting, flipping, and farming materials that crafters are going to use to craft decor that have recently went up in price a lot. So I'll have the link for that down below in the description box. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel, because I'm bringing out daily videos about making gold with player housing. So make sure you keep up to date with those new videos if you want to maximize the amount of gold that you make with this new feature, which is player housing. Till next one, guys, take care.